We're witnessing a very scary breakdown amongst some of the top ranked coins, the likes of Solana losing major structure. So we'll talk about that in today's show, where the next major levels of support are, and of course, what Bitcoin is doing as well, since this is going to drive the overall crypto market. And this is following yesterday, where we got a little bit of excitement and a pump with prices running up slightly yesterday, for that to only be coughed up almost immediately. And it's an absolute washing machine out there. You need to be very, very, very careful with your day-to-day trading. The best thing you can probably do, and I actually did a video on that, is nothing, right? We did a video on that a couple of days ago, and we said the best trade right now, the best thing to possibly be doing in the crypto markets is just waiting for the trading range to resolve, whether that be a breakout towards the upside or a breakdown below the bottom of the trading range, at which point you can start to get your positions in play, right? So right now you're going to get rinsed, chopping in and out with the rest of the market, but some of the coins are losing key levels, right? Solana, you can see Solana-related coins like Jupiter also down 13.6%, Radium down 10.2%, Bonk down almost 10%, Jito also 12.3%, and that is on the day, right? So getting a little bit smacked over there, and a lot of this has got to do with the president of Argentina, of course, who launched that meme coin, and then of course he was in a lot of trouble around that. We spoke about the controversies around it yesterday. Just later on last night in the evening, he actually went and retweeted it. I don't know if his account's hacked, I don't know what's going on, but he retweeted the contract address once again for how to buy Libra, the token. You saw prices rally 60% and pretty much was only downhill from that point onwards for the rest of the crypto market. You know, crime season is legal right now in crypto. Donald Trump showed us the way, and crime season is legal, and now the free market will punish all, right? And that's exactly what we're seeing with prices coming down over here. You have liquidations now picking up, with the majority of those, of course, coming from longs. $192 million, nowhere near the $2 billion that we saw, you know, not so long ago, right? That was the $2 billion candle over there. But price-wise, we're coming back towards those levels where that $2 billion got liquidated, right? Now you're getting 10 times less liquidations while price is coming back to those same levels, which just shows you that the liquidity has been drained. The market has been absolutely royally rinsed. So crazy enough, the volume is up 43%, but it's not saying much when the volume is down so drastically. Remember, we've been studying this for quite some time, and you can see the daily exchange volume is coming down, right? Of course, it's coming down over here, creating lower lows and lower highs. It needed to defend this all-important $50 billion region. It's not all said and done and over yet, but it is at this major point, right? So that's a key level. You want to see if it can start to bounce off of that. And we're seeing USDT dominance, of course, taking a bullish resolution towards the upside following the break of this downsloping trend line, breaking above the resistance level over here, and now flipping that into support, which is not what you want to see if you're a crypto bulla, right? You have prices moving up over here. This is starting to look like a major high low, and we'll just need to see and pay attention to this as it does lead into that continuation, right? Because the 𝗥𝗡𝗚 strategy is going to kind of fall out of place right now. You wanted to see an immediate reaction towards the downside almost right away. The 𝗥𝗡𝗚 strategy, of course, we do teach that in Whale School. We are taking signups right now, by the way. There's a link below. But essentially, the 𝗥𝗡𝗚 strategy, looking at 50% of this overall trading wick, which you can see on the USDT dominance, was tagged perfectly. But we spent 2 candles over there, and now we're approaching it for the 3rd candle. Usually you want to see that one test and essentially price moving in the opposite direction. So it would have been that, and then you would have wanted to see the collapse of the USDT dominance, but instead you are spending a lot of time around here, right? Perfectly testing into this region over here, and it's really looking like it's starting to set up for a larger move. Larger moves are not good if you're bullish, right? Larger moves towards the upside mean lower prices. So we've spoken about this. Major stop losses should be placed below the Monday low, right? The Monday low. We'll look at the other charts in terms of where those Monday lows are. Drop your altcoin request. If there is something that you want charted, please put it in the comment section below. While you're at the comment section dropping your favorite altcoin that you want charted, please also go through and vote on the poll over there. I'd love to know your thoughts. Is the bull run over? I know that there's chatter and conversation around that. I'll share my thoughts on that towards the end of the show. Is the bull run over? Vote over there, yes, no, or you have absolutely no clue, right? Looking at Bitcoin dominance as well, you can see the MACD is now once again starting to pick up again. You can see the histogram lightening with that red to a lighter red now, dark red to lighter red, starting to move towards the upside over here, and you are getting the bounce off of the fair value gap, which was exactly something that we were looking at, right? We were hoping that you could possibly have rejected, which yesterday was a tricky environment, because if you do look over here, you did test into at least that death cross, right? Where you had the 9 and 18 exponential moving average crossing towards the downside, 9 below the 18. That is your death cross over there on the low time frames on the daily. You wicked into that. This creates a little bit of an altcoin pump as it came down, and massive bull trap. Price, of course, now moving towards the upside over here. It's not all said and done. We need to wait to see what happens for the rest of today, but there is still a chance that you could put in a lower high, which is part of the trajectory that we had planned out over here. So the green course would look like this, right? Still, if you put in a lower high anywhere around here on the Bitcoin dominance and you start to come down, you can easily just wait for the full-on confirmation. Full-on confirmation comes in at this zone. If you can take out this low over here, create a new swing low, and then bounce up off of that, testing this possibly as underside resistance, that's kind of like your safest zone to position into altcoins. Otherwise, right now, you are probably better off being Bitcoin heavy or even cash heavy in this type of environment as prices do come down, right? So one thing that could bring liquidity, and we're keeping it super simple, is the DXY, right? You can see a pretty clean trading range over there on the DXY, which has held ever since November 2022. So it's been holding this range over here for about 827 days, and now we're possibly deviating it, right? So looking at this on the lower time frame, like the daily, you have your highs over here, you have your lower highs, you have your first lower low, creating a new swing low over there. Expect that this probably will bounce up, right? If it does start to set in yet another lower high, this could cause the dump that we're seeing right now in Bitcoin. Next lower high over there, maybe you'll get some coins on the cheap depending on how far they go down. And if you can hold underneath that range level over there, specifically breaking multiple candles below that level over there, that could lead to the drop over here, which may be the thing that brings the liquidity. Because remember, going back to this chart over here, we know that we're in a very, very low volume environment, right? Volume is gone. What is going to bring the volume back into the market? Possibly that, possibly a drop in the Bitcoin dominance, which is not confirmed yet. It's still moving up. Possibly a drop in the DXY, which trades very similar to, of course, the Bitcoin dominance over there, right? So you can see full resets on the weekly in terms of the stochastic RSI. But remember, this is where the bears actually retain the most control. The same is true when you have price or the stochastic RSI in the top regions over here. That's where bulls retain the most control. So the question is, will you get some sort of a bounce out of here? Understand this, a lot of damage can be done while these stochastics remain in these low regions, right? So just because at the bottom doesn't mean that it's a screaming buy. You need to line that up with other key levels of support, of which we do have multiple, right? Same, nothing's changed over here. That key range low around that $90,000 level lines up with your 21 weekly exponential moving average. If you do start to break and hold below this and it starts to roll over, that's where you can start to entertain the possibility that this was one of the shortest bull runs ever and there was no altcoin season, because there really hasn't been an altcoin season. Altcoin seasons occur in this type of environment where you start to see massive collapses or drops in the Bitcoin dominance, something like this, right? This is where the altcoin seasons occur, and we have not yet seen that. We've seen that in 2021, as well as in the end of 2017, leading into 2018. And the important thing to understand as well is usually the altcoin season marks the end of the crypto cycle, right? That typically happens right at the end. So levels to look out for, some key levels, you might sweep slightly below the bottom of that trading range. If so, you'll find major support coming in over here at the 30 moving average. So I have the 3, the 9, and the 30 over here. That is on the 5-day time frame. According to this, if you're trading this as a swing trader, what this would suggest, the fact that you're below the 3 and the 9 moving average and it's starting to angle towards the downside, you would start to maintain at least a 50 to 60% cash position, right? And if it comes back down into this level and holds support, you can start to scale that up. If you lose the purple over here, you need to move into a full-on cash position. Now, one of the coins that looks like that would be, of course, Solana. It's now officially lost all of those levels. You can see below the 3, the 9, and the 30, all of them angled towards the downside and all in a bearish posturing, right? So not looking good. You can look at something like ETH as well, and it's no different. Pretty brutal, right? Compared to if you look at the strength that's in Bitcoin, Bitcoin still holding above those moving averages, where you have Solana and ETH, which are now below those moving averages. You can look at something that recently performed well, like Phantom, also now called Sonic. I'm just giving you Phantom because there's more price history, but trying to reclaim the short terms, but still very, very far from establishing a powerful uptrend, right? It's still got a lot of work to do. Casper, right, lost all of those key levels. Let's look at 𝗬𝗎, busy losing the key levels right now, right? Losing that 30 MA. Not looking good, right? These are bad signs over here for the market. You need some sort of a miracle, some sort of a major rebound, right? We do have Donald Trump speaking tomorrow. Will he save his crypto bags? Remember, his family have been buying a lot of crypto. Let's see if he has any words of wisdom. This is completely illegal for him to pump his bags, but we've seen crazier things before, right? Only time will tell. So what I'm looking at over here on Bitcoin, let's first highlight on this chart over here to just keep it clean and simple, is this long-term upsloping trend line. Now, I have used a little bit of a parallel channel just to highlight some of the key levels, because this is the easiest way to get the line of best fit in terms of wick into the body. Got a slight deviation over here. Price ripped up over there. Wicks held, body held over there. And now we're coming into this level once again. We've tested over there. We've tested over there. Of course, it's a straight hard stop. If you break below the Monday low, that is Monday, the 3rd of February, right? Pretty much, I would say, extremely hard stop loss in that region. This creates a catch-22 situation, because if we understand the way that market makers work, we know that they're probably going to go for that wick, right? Because that is the logical place where every single stop loss would be placed. But you have to have some sort of an invalidation, right? If you look at other coins like Solana, well, it's already taken out that level, right? It's taken out now officially the Monday low. This is not a good sign. There's the Monday low, at least Monday, the 3rd of February. It took out that line. We highlighted this. We said the problem is once you sweep this level, this is a massive amount of liquidity over here, right for the taking. And then you need to start looking down towards the other strong horizontal levels, right? So at least one way that you can do it is you can use your at least your fib level over there, and we can go from the origin of the move, the start of this absolute parabolic move that occurred on Solana, and we can mark out where's that 50% level. And what we find is the 50% level comes in over here. I'm going to highlight it into this zone over here, which is going to be that 156, right? Which you're very, very close to. So 156 should lead to an interim bounce on Solana. But if you do lead into that interim bounce that leads into yet another lower high, and you start to breach below this mid-range level, well, then the next levels that you have to look to are going to be all the way down to the bottom of the trading range, which means in that instance, you know, you're talking about around $120 Solana price. So I'll show you on another chart in a moment in terms of the range that it looks like. It's had an interesting deviation over the top side of the trading range and now started to break back inside. Nevertheless, when we go back to this chart over here, you can see this is bearish, losing all those key moving averages. We did lose it temporarily in August, but that was okay because seasonality-wise, we knew that typically seasonally for Bitcoin and cryptos, you tend to find a major low, including the stock market, in the month of August or September. So that was a different environment. Now you're deviating back into the trading range, right? As you can see over here, if you focus on this, this has pretty much been a clear trading range, range low, range mid-range, and range high. And essentially, you've had two peaks over the top, deviated back into the trading range, losing all those key moving averages, and therefore not looking good in that regard, right? But interim support at mid-range, expect a bit of a bounce over there. This bounce can be pretty significant, right? I mean, this bounce could easily lead into a massive complacency bounce, or maybe even will find a major low, but different environment to what we saw back in August, where this was much more stable price action. Now you're losing those key moving averages after a mega run up, right? All right, so let's continue on over there. Now, if Bitcoin does end up breaking this level over here, which is the upsloping trend line that we focus on, and the stops get taken at the Monday low, of course, coming in on the 3rd of February at a price level of $91,178. If you do lose that, these are going to be the key supports. This is really the one chart that you need to look at because this shows everything, right? If you take out the yearly open, you're essentially also going for the Monday low, but you do have short-term support at that 21 weekly exponential moving average, which should lead to a short-term bounce. And if you lose that and you wick through this level, the strongest buy zone where I would personally be a bidder would be right over here, right? $83,000. That is the key zone for me. You could stagger and scale orders in like this, right? You can essentially, build a position like that as you pyramid in, smaller orders towards the top, bigger orders as you get lower and lower down, closer to the invalidation point. But essentially, this is an area wrought with massive support because you have the 0.618 to 65 level lined up over here between $81,684 and $83,047. So between that 82, 83K level is highly, highly significant zone, which simultaneously lines up with your monthly and daily fair value gap simultaneously, right? So it's a lot of major, major support over here. The problem is if you do play this out, that's a 13% downside move for Bitcoin. What would that mean for some of those altcoins, right? That would be pretty significant. Now, even if you were to come down to those low levels into the 70K zone, I would still be looking for an extraordinary bounce off of this level because it is so significant, right? And therefore, personally, I would be a buyer over here. I think it's worth it, even if it leads into a bounce and later on you come down into these low levels. Remember, this is the dead zone, DED, dead for crypto dead. If you do start to break below 66,783, that's where your bull market ends, right? It's over. So I'm not betting on that. I don't think that's happening. In fact, we can have a look at what is the bubble risk within the crypto markets right now, and you can see it's dropped significantly. The markets tend to top on extreme risk, at least a 1.75 to above a 2, like we've seen every other prior cycle. And now, within the midst of what is still, in my opinion, a bull market, although very, very scary, it's still a bull market. We've now dropped back down into the 1.125 range, right? Which is absolutely unbelievable. We're back in the green zone, which prior times we've hit these green zones into major support, actually become buy zones, right? These are buy zones. I would say that when you're in the 1.25, anywhere from 1.25 or higher, that's kind of your neutral territory where you don't want to be playing around too much. You don't want to be allocating new capital. You don't want to be messing about. But anything that is, of course, the lower the values, the better. So if you're operating in this 0.5 zone, which you only saw once back in 2012, that's a screaming buy, right? So we can eliminate that because we haven't seen much of that. But if you look at the let's just quickly grab this off. 1 second, guys. Let me turn this off because it will keep popping up. There we go. If you do come back down into this 0.5 to 0.75, this has been where the majority of the bear market lows have happened, right? And then as things start to mark up, 0.75 to 0.1. And again, well, now we're only just a small point above that at the 1 to 1.25. So pretty interesting over there. Quickly going back to this chart over here, we continue to ride the 9 and 18 exponential moving average towards the downside over here for Bitcoin, which again means you have to look to those next major support levels, lining up with those high time frame fair value gaps, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly time frames. It all lines up perfectly into the zone, adding additional reason for why that 83K level is so significant. Very, very, very important, right? Bitcoin just continues to ride down these this 50 and 200 EMA. You can see over here, it just can't get back above it, right? Every time it tries, it fails, tries and fails, tries and fails. So if you want to remain cautious, all you need to do is really just wait for a reclaim of these levels and to change the structure, right? Create some high highs and high lows, get back above this level over here, and then you can eradicate some of that risk, right? If you look at things like Solana, you can see some people are already starting to put bids in over here on the 4-hour time frame, of course, front running this key level. So again, just highlighting that trading range. There's your trading range. You've deviated over the top side. Theoretically, this is going to be major support. So, if you've been holding this far and you're in Solana, would I, exit this position right here, right now? Probably not. Probably not. If you didn't get stopped out of this position with a predetermined stop, you're looking at another 7% downside move over here, and then it should start to put in at least a little bit of a bounce over there. All right. So most of the coins are doing this. Look at Ethereum as well. If you look at Ethereum yesterday, you got this beautiful pump up over here. It started to look promising, like it was going to try and challenge the 200 EMA. Failed, right? Didn't even get close to there. Failed the 50 and has now started to come back down again. So understand that there will be pent up liquidity over here in the form of stop losses for people that have been trying to ride this up. The problem is that sometimes these things start to look like similar to a bear flag, right? Where you got a strong move down, consolidate, and then ultimately, if price doesn't get moving very, very, very quickly, you can start to look at breaking this down further and then coming for that wick, right? Which is pretty much what we saw in Solana. There it is on Solana. This would be the equivalent, right? You had the wick. You're trying to ride it up, and then eventually just kept rejecting and now fell through. Remember with Solana, there is a little bit of a fundamental case as well for why it's going down. Firstly, everybody seems to be angry with the blockchain, which is quite strange. It's like being angry with a vacuum cleaner. Very, very weird. It's just a machine, right? It's just software. There's no reason to be angry with Solana, but nevertheless, they're taking it out on Solana because of the meme coin market. That's the first thing. You also have these FTX distributions, which are going to be coming out. People are worried that there's going to be, because of the unlocks, there's going to be mass selling, right? There is a lot that's coming out, which some of these funds that are going to receive their Solana tokens that are unlocked are up in the billions, right? Billions of dollars. And therefore, yes, of course, they could sell into that. They could decide, you know what, billions of dollars, I'm taking the profit, at least in the short term, while I wait for the Fed to pivot. Who knows what they're looking at, right? So there is always that risk, but you know where the support levels are, right? Support level 1, 156, support level 2, 120. So that is your mid-range. Let's look at the total cryptocurrency market cap. It all depends on the weekly closes. It still looks likely that the total weekly low is probably in, that the worst is over in that regard, especially when you line things up like this with the short-term bubble risk. It would be indicative that probably an opportunity, right? If you can find major support and you can pick the right coins. That is the billion-dollar question, right? Can you pick the right coins, or are you going to get rinsed? You have Total 2, which excludes Bitcoin but looks at Ethereum and all the others. This is perfectly backtesting into the neckline of the cup and handle. This is not a failed pattern yet, right? This cup and handle is still relevant. But you have your invalidation, which is going to be the wick low. If you break below that wick low, which is 17.2% away, you're in big trouble, right? Then you're probably going to start to come down for this one over here. And if you take that out, it's probably over at that point. Same thing over here for Total 3, which now excludes Ethereum. You're talking about 15% towards the downside to get to that wick. And then you have others over here, which has been absolutely brutalized. This one's got 16.7% to go and strong, hard invalidation below that level. If you take that out, also big trouble. It's over. Let's look at Total 3 against Bitcoin. Still coming down over here, but on a closing basis, putting in possibly a high low over there. If you look at others coming back down into this key zone over here, and this one's still putting in lower highs and lower lows. So only Total 3 against Bitcoin is showing a glimmer of hope, right? And that's all it really is just a glimmer of hope, because on a closing basis, you have the possibility for high low after breaking structure, creating a high, but there's so much work to be done over here, before you can start to say that this is super strong. So we can have a look at some of the altcoins. Let me know in the comment section exactly what it is that you want to have a look at, and we can take a quick look. I'm just lining things up with some of the key levels. Hype is one of the coins that are somewhat holding up over here while the rest is down like 5-6%. Hype was actually up 5% just now, but pretty much immediately coughing that up. It seems like they're building positions down in this $21 to $23 range. So keep an eye out on that zone. Fundamentally strong coin as well. Okay. Bitcoin is still going to be the safest. Just always remember that. Bitcoin is going to be the safest until you can confirm that the Bitcoin dominance top is in. All right, we can have a look at Ondo. I know Ondo was doing well once upon a time. So let's see how it looks right now. Okay, so Ondo, a lot of these coins may be filling some of these wicks, right? The 50% of the wick, I think, simultaneously lines up over here with the previous month's low. And you can see that over there. Let's just mark it out. So pretty close, right? Pretty close. $1.07, and the previous month's low is like $1.09. So that would be what I'd be looking for in terms of Ondo. I'd be observing this previous month's low for major support, just in terms of a low time frame trading range. Mantra continues to be manipulated towards the upside. What a great coin to be in when it's subject to manipulation, right? Straight up, this is still looking very strong. Despite this move over here, it's looking really good. It is holding up over there above and beyond the rest. Okay. What else? What else have we got? Okay. We can do Cardano. Yes, we can do Cardano. Let's have a look at Cardano. ADA. There it is. So ADA, it had a beautiful move up, of course, on the daily. It's rejecting now from the yearly open as well as the previous month's low. I'd really only start to get excited with this if it can reclaim that. If it did reclaim that, I'd pretty much use these lows as my invalidation. So assuming it does that, kind of have your invalidation over here, entry over here, trade it back towards the top of the previous month's high. But if it can't get above here, it does theoretically make sense that you could also take a head short trade, which you could enter right about here, and you could have your stops above this candle at about 91, right? You put your stop loss over there at about 91 cents. So there, and you could target at least to 50% of that wick. So 2 trades over there, right? It's just about which one's going to play out. You can theoretically take both sides. All right, what else? What else have we got over here? Let's go to how's Injective doing. Okay, also not looking good. This is what you wanted to see from Injective. You wanted to get back above the yearly open. You failed to do that. You've come into the key zone. Look at that wick over there, starting to reject, price coming down. If you are long on this, again, hard stop below that wick over there. Failure to reclaim that top side of the trading range could mean that this comes down to about $9.47, right? That is for Injective. That's what I'd be looking at over there. All right. Sure, let's have a look at Render. We can check out Render USDT. Let's go to the one on Binance. How is Render doing? Okay, so also approaching major support. At one point in time, you look like you're going to hold the previous month's low. Rejected from there. This is your major support level. So hard invalidation, it's kind of tough because you don't want to put your hard invalidation below the wick low because there is still major support over there, right? So manage your risk accordingly. But in terms of super strong support, I'm just going to tighten this up a little bit. I'd really be focused on this region, right? You definitely want to see this hold above $3. Anything below $3 is bad. Above $3 gives potential. Okay. Let's see, guys. What else? HBAR. We can have a look at HBAR. I know HBAR was one that did well once upon a time. So let's pull up HBAR. There it is, one of the US coins. Coughing up most of those gains. Where do we go to on this one? Let's quickly see. Let's go with the horizontal over here. I would be looking down towards this zone over here. This is going to be the most important level for me. This is the origin of the move as well. So, I mean, typically I'd want to see this hold up before then. I would want to see support found at about 17. So even if you wick this guy out over here, you take that position out, you want to hold support at about 17 on a closing basis. If you don't, then I would expect that the next level you're going to come for is 11.7, right? 0.1178. You're going to sweep that order block low. Okay. All right. Disbelief phase, right? Disbelief phase, says Nick. Yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of people, it is a disbelief phase. Remember, guys, if you do want to trade these markets, if you want to short the markets, there are a lot of trades, right? Our traders are absolutely crushing it in there. You have 116% profit from one of our traders in the group over here. We trade the market both ways in the Whale Room Discord, right? So jump into Whale Room if you want to learn more. There is a lot of different information over here, valuable information. You can see if you want to check our rating over there, we do have 4.75 stars. We have a lot of people that have, joined into the group already. I'm going to do something special for you guys since I know a lot of people are down on the markets. It's a first come, first serve basis. I can't remember exactly how many they're allocated, but I think it's, less than 5 to 10 of these codes are available, right? Less than 5 to 10 of these codes. So you can try first come, first serve. These are the codes, right? Let me just quickly move my head out the way. These are the codes over there. So for example, if you use 50 whale, you're going to get 50% off of your first month's payment, right? So click the link in the description below. You would have to go over here, click the link in the description below for Whale Room. What it's going to do is it's going to take you through to this page over here. There it is. It will take you to this page over here. When you join, put in the code, right? That's all you have to do. Put in 50 whale, 40 whale, 30 whale, and it will tell you if there is any available still, it will give you that discounted rate, right? So for those of you that have been on edge wanting to join for short-term trading, we're doing great things in there, right? Very, very good things. You can go through and check what our traders' profits look like over here. So shorting the market, longing the market, both ways. Cool. Arweave, yes, let's have a look at Arweave. We have to have a look at Arweave. I know that Arweave is supposedly very, very bullish, fundamentally powerful, strong coin. But let's see, to me personally, the TA trumps all, right? TA is the most important. And, this has been straight down. It's been really, really brutal. You are at a major support level, but the way it's consolidating into this level makes me think it's probably going to bleed out lower. I have to be honest with you. That's just the way that I see it. And where would it bleed out to? You know, maybe you got a little bit of support over here at about 7.18, and, you know, it could easily come back down to $6. So what I would do is I'll just wait, right? Wait for confirmation, wait for strength in other areas. So if it does just happen to bleed out, all you have to do is just wait for that to reverse, right? Get some sort of a big spike up, change of character, switch the market around, create a little bit of a trading range, reaccumulate, and then up you go. This right now, this still doesn't look like reaccumulation to me. This is still last leg of distribution, right? There's still some people holding onto coins here, which seem to be distributed. Okay, cool. What else have we got, guys? All right. Let's see. Okay, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕. Yes, let's go to 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕. We can have a look at 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕. There's 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕. 𝗕𝗬𝗕 down 5.64% today. You know, you got this major level over here. Keep in mind, this is pretty similar to what Solana had, which is what you have to be careful of. If you do start to break this trend line, that's where you start to move down to these lower regions, which would be last 3 digits, 774, right? The problem with that is it doesn't look far, but it's like 18 to 20% away. And then if you don't hold that level, you go all the way back down to range low, which ends up being about 34% from here, right? So that is what you're looking at on 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕. All right. Let's see what else, guys. 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕, sure. Let's see how 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕's looking. I know this one's had extreme volatility. 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕 USDT, surely I have this one already mapped out. Okay, we'll have to bring up a new one. Which one should we look at? Is this correct? 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕 USDT. It's like I'm spelling this wrong. No, it must be. Okay, there we go. Got it, finally. All right. There we have it. Okay, terrible. Absolutely brutal, right? Where's this one going to? You know, you really have to look down towards these major lows. It's a possibility. This is just straight distribution. You have to wait for this thing to turn around. Guys, this is terrible. Honestly, this is terrible when it comes to a lot of these coins. You know, imagine another 53% down from here. The reason it's so terrible is all you need to do is study meme coins on the low time frames, where you watch their massive pumps, their rise to success and euphoria. And when they come down this far, it takes time, right? The way these charts typically play out following those types of environments. And I don't want to sugarcoat it, guys. I have to be honest with you. It's better to pull the Band-Aid off. But usually you see something like this, right? And then it takes time. Like you'd sweep those major lows at like 15, 16 cents. And then it takes time to reaccumulate. And then you need to see. Then usually you do get a pump. And again, 99% of the time, that pump does this. And it never takes out that high again. But at least that pump will provide you with an opportunity to exit those positions. Now, what do you do? Should you add more money into this? Personally, I wouldn't do that. If you're down on these things, I wouldn't add more money into it, because they can always go lower, right? These things can absolutely always go lower. If you look from here to here, again, that is 50% down. And let's say that your average buy is somewhere around the top over here at 170. How far do you need to go to get back, right? How far? 414%. What happens if it goes from here to here? Now you need 1,000%. That's almost double what's required from this level over here, right? These are big, big, big gains, right? So managing your equity or your risk is the most important thing. Something very, very interesting that I once heard from, I can't remember who, so unfortunately I can't give credit to them, but a seasoned trader was trade your equity curve, right? You don't necessarily always need to focus on your on each chart, right? In terms of like where support and resistance is. You can think of your own equity curve like that, your own portfolio like that. Eventually, you have to cut the positions at some point, right? Now, am I advocating that you cut over here when it's already been literally sent to hell? Not necessarily. Look, I wouldn't add more. That's all I'm saying. I just wouldn't add more into this. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done over here. Okay. You can always also open up if you want to cut. If you want to cut the losses, like you want to stop the bleeding. What you could do though, instead of buying more, what I would rather do is I would look for an opportunity of any bounce like this over here to open a head short, right? Once you printed that candle over there, you know, that's a free short trade over there. on these next daily candles, stop loss goes above, and then you start to short it down, you'd already be down 42%. And if it plays out the full move, that's 72%. Remember, there is a link in the description below for those of you that do want to use leverage in your favor to play the market volatility. Bybit gives you 10% off of your spot and futures trades, right? And you're getting up to $30,000 in sign-up bonuses. I am now a VIP, so you get even more. Depending on how much you put in, you get even more if you become a VIP member. All right. Let's see, what else? Let's have a look. I think let's have a look at some of those, these Sol native coins. So things like, we're going to have a look at Jupiter, Radium, Jito. Let's have a look at some of those, see what those are doing over here. So let's see Jupiter. Let's go to Jupiter, which was doing phenomenally well. This thing had the most insane uptrend, I think. Let's quickly pull it up. And we're looking on the daily. Okay, it's not this one then. It was another one. Okay, back down to range low. Pretty simple over here. This is all the way back down to range low. So there's your key level. Crystal clear for anyone to see over there. You know, this is major support. So would I bail out of my Jupiter position? Probably not. Let's see the other ones, right? Let's look at Radium. Okay, how's Radium doing? Radium USDT. Okay, let's pull that up. All right, I think it was Radium that had the great uptrend over here, but now it's starting to lose that. It is definitely losing steam over here. You have major support over here coming into this zone. The problem is you have tested it quite a bit, right? This was a beautiful fair value gap that you had over there, and you've already had multiple wicks into that level. So I would say any closing candles below the previous month's low, then I'd probably start to exit this position, and then you need to look down to lower. Next major support for this, for me personally, would be at about $2.53. All right. Okay, sure. We can have a look at Goku. Okay, let's have a look at Goku. I only have it on TradingView over here. I don't have my other chart up. Okay, it's getting smacked as well with the rest of the market, but it is at major support. Full disclosure, I still hold all of my Goku tokens. I haven't sold any. You guys know that when I get an early enough entry, which was sub $1 million market cap, and I'm still up significantly, I hold, right? I hold on these things. So that's what I'm doing over there. That is Goku. This is your ultimate major support. You've hit it. You have theoretically tagged that major support over here. But to see strength coming back into the market, of course, this needs to get back above the previous month's low, as well as the yearly open, which lines up at the same level. That is 0.00969. Okay, these things are gonna get hit just like the rest of the market, especially when the market's angry at Solana. Okay, let's have a look at Brett. I see there's a request on Brett. So I would assume not looking too good like the rest of them. Okay, at least it broke this parabola that was running towards the downside, getting smacked over there. But your ultimate major support is coming in at 0.03, right? This is kind of similar to 𝗬𝗢𝗓. Unfortunately, it's consolidating at those lows. It will take time. You need to see a bit more from this to confirm whether this is going to turn into reaccumulation, right? You need to see a bit more from this. I would expect a bit of chop over here. It will take time to form a reaccumulation range on most of these things. Okay. All right. What else, guys? Cool. How long have we been on the show? We've been 38 minutes. We have covered quite a lot. I will remind you, if you do want that extra alpha, jump into Whale Room, right? We have traders that trade equity markets as well over here. So if you're sick of crypto and you want to trade Forex, you want to trade indices, things like that, we do day trading over there as well. It's the New York and the London session. You need to go through to this section over here. We're also doing a prop firm challenge, right? So if you do want to jump in over there, you can sign up, get a discount on the prop firm challenge. Basically, this means we use other people's money to trade with. We pass the prop firm challenge, or challenges at least, and then we use their equity to trade with and risk in the market so we can make more money. There is your discount code, right? There's your discount codes. First come, first serve. I'll see all of you on the next one. Have a great day, and hope you all survive out there, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers for now.